going to go live and see if it's actually going to play within the group, and then we can just chat. And
All right.
if it works, then great. I'm also plugged into my hardwire too, so
All right.
let's see. Oh yeah, it works. Okay. And so we have a couple of other folks who've joined the actual Zoom, which I think is pretty cool. I've never, that's one of the things that kind of got me a couple of weeks ago when I was doing it with the folks from Sierra Interactive, my buddies Rob and Ryan. We had the Facebook Live, and people, a couple, like two or three people actually joined the Zoom.
Was able to join. Oh,
Oh
cool.
yeah, and so because it gets posted on Facebook, and most people join like that. But the fact that people join the Zoom, I think is pretty cool. Jeremy and Keith, how you fellas doing? How y'all doing? I don't know if they can hear me or they have to put something in the chat. But yeah, if
Yeah.
you have any questions as we're talking, because it really is going to be a conversation, and you'll see in a second why I love her so much. Um,
uh, so I can't seem to get you on my feed, but
what do you mean? Like, can you not?
on my timeline feed,
Oh, oh, because
because it's just a mention. Maybe if you post on my timeline, it will
oh,
allow
okay.
me to.
You mean try to make the same post on your timeline?
Yeah.
Let me see. Uh, well, I know I'm going live like in the group. I wonder if I post on the timeline, will it actually work? I don't
Would
know.
it also play on my timeline?
Yeah, I don't know if it will actually. Um, you want me to try?
Yeah, post on my timeline.
Okay, let me see. And because I I don't know if that's gonna work, Sheila, but I will definitely try it.
Yeah.
Let me
Well,
see.
I'm gonna have to approve it anyway before it appears.
Okay.
But if it works, then we're streaming on two channels basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because what I think has to happen. I see you right here, just like the KW, just local homes. Is that the one you want me to do?
No, you could do the Sheila Zarekari one.
Yeah, but then right below it, it had. Okay, so I see the one with your face
Yes.
smiling. Okay, all right, great. So I'm going to your timeline, and I'm in your page,
Mhm.
and then oh yeah, I don't even see a place to post right here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't.
that's my setting.
Yeah, that's your settings. It's
It's a
fine.
controlled environment. Okay.
Yeah, I see. It's fine.
And I think it's 11 now. So,
Yeah, so I'm so excited to chat with you today. By the way, hello everyone. My name is Hassan Riggs. I'm the founder and CEO at Smart Alto. I'm also a Forbes contributor. I write for Forbes about real estate marketing, real estate technology trends, and also how to set appointments specifically through text message. I was a ISA for several years, and I've set thousands and thousands of appointments for real estate teams, agents, and brokers all around the country. And so I'm excited to sit and
oh,
chat with you today because a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was last week, 2 weeks ago, I forgot. I was sitting down, I was having a conversation. I spend most of my time on a Zoom call, and I talk to a lot of top producers around the country. But I had the most fascinating conversation with a wonderful person, Sheila, who you'll meet in a moment. And we start talking about branding and digital marketing and how to generate leads and how to convert leads and the tools that she has and uh, um, um, also her previous experience, and it was a fantastic conversation, B, extremely informative to just kind of hear the way that she thinks about her business, the way that she thinks about growing her business, building a team, generating leads, converting leads, establishing relationships with clients, having conversations with clients to kind of move the needle forward. And I thought it would be really good to kind of rerun that conversation a bit, because I think even Sheila, when I was on the phone with you, I mentioned, I was like, wow, we should have a Facebook Live about this because it was so good, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Definitely, except at that time when we were talking, I didn't have my war paint on
No, you
because
look
I didn't know
fantastic.
there was going to be video, but now
Yeah.
a little bit better.
So today, what we're going to talk about is it's going to be extremely conversational. And if you can join this conversation, if you're seeing it in Facebook Live, that's perfectly okay. But I see we have a couple of people who actually joined the Zoom call too. So if you're in the Facebook Live and you're watching me right now, that's perfectly fine. But you can also join the Zoom call, which I'm on. But today's conversation is really going to be extremely casual, but really informative because I'm going to pepper her with a bunch of questions about her background, about her branding experience, digital marketing experience, and some of the things that she uses to really explode her business and take it to the next level. So hopefully, if you're there, if you have any questions, you can put them in the Facebook Live because I'll be checking that too within the Real Estate Marketing Mastermind group. But also, I see Jeremy, Sheila, Alan, Keith, a lot of folks are here. And so I'll be able to answer some of those questions that you all have here too. So, Sheila, how about you take a moment and just introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from, a little bit about your background, etc.
All right. I'm Sheila Zarekari. I'm with Keller Williams in the Danville, California Market Center. Um, Prior to real estate, I was actually in brand management. I started working for Procter and Gamble when I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah, I got out of school at the age of 18, and my first job was Procter and Gamble brand marketing.
Wow,
And
that's a really good job. That's a hard job to get. I know a lot about P&G actually. It's a hard company to get in the doors with. So I'm gonna want to tap on that later
I
too.
guess I got lucky, but over the years, I've managed household brands like Tide, Pampers, Crest, in multiple markets.
Yeah.
Ivory.
Yeah.
I probably handled a lot of products that you use
Yeah.
at home. And after Procter and Gamble, I actually joined Gallo Wineries here in California because I wanted to set my roots in California.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got married, I decided to quit corporate and become a small business owner. So right now we own a restaurant in downtown Oakland.
Okay.
It's a full service restaurant with a full bar.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and actually, that's where I am in right now. So there might be people going in and out because they're preparing for lunch rush. But
Yeah.
that's basically my background. And once the restaurant was established, actually, that's when I started with real estate. My kid was growing up,
Mm-hmm.
restaurant was stable, and I was getting kind of bored. And I decided real estate would be the next industry to tackle. Yeah.
Got it. So let's first of all, thank you for kind of sharing that broad perspective. Let's step back a little bit because just share a little bit with everyone what brand marketing is, why it's so important, and your day-to-day roles and responsibilities when you were at P&G.
Uh, in PNG, if you were in the brand management team, for example, if I was the director for Tide or Pampers, then my responsibility is actually like a general manager. You manage the
Mm-hmm.
whole business,
Mm-hmm.
including, of course, the responsibility of growing the brand, the recognizability of the brand,
Mm-hmm.
gaining market share versus your competition in particular markets. I've worked to topple monopolies
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
past. I've also worked to build brand share from 7 to 36 market share.
Wow.
So
Wow. What brand was that?
that was Safeguard, which
Got it.
is actually it's actually the biggest soap franchise outside of the US, and all of that comes from models that we've created back home.
Okay. Got it. Got it. And so you had a career in brand marketing, working with some of the largest, quite literally some of the largest brands in the world. I have quite a few friends who have worked for P&G, and I know they give you a lot of responsibility at an early age because P&G's model is we hire smart people and they tell us what to do. And so I did not, obviously, before I spoke with you, I knew a little bit about you, but I didn't know that you had worked for P&G. So that's fairly impressive within itself. But then you kind of transition from that. I know you said you're at the restaurant now,
Yeah,
and you've had the restaurant for how many
15
years?
years now.
15 years. And how long does a typical restaurant, how many years does it survive before it closes?
2 to 3 years.
2 to 3 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So you've had a restaurant open along with your husband
Mhm.
in the Bay Area
Mhm.
for 7 times longer than the average restaurant is open, right? Because you've been
Yes.
there 15 years. The average restaurant is about 2 years.
2 to 3 years. Yeah.
All right. And so, listen, I'm not a genius, but I can do simple arithmetic. And so, just from a baseline perspective, you've been open longer than most people will
Mhm.
ever kind
Yeah.
of open and get a restaurant. What would you say kind of contributed to your success? I know that you started really early on in online advertising with Yelp and thinking about Google and stuff, right?
Yeah, when we started the restaurant, social media was kind of young.
Hmm.
We had Yelp trying to get business from us. They were just starting at that time.
Yeah.
Um, Compared to my budget when I was with Tide, for example, or Ivory or Crest, the
Hmm.
millions of dollars that I had for advertising, I
Yeah.
certainly didn't have that as a small business owner running a restaurant. And so
Yeah.
I had to relearn everything, and I had to find the best medium for the little money that we had, which is
Hmm.
probably comparable to where we all are in the real estate industry, because you're individual people
Yeah.
trying to uh, create word of mouth and recognition. So at the time, after looking at all the vehicles available, the best use of our money at the time was Google pay per click.
Okay.
And so we had dabbled in Google pay per click very early on. We did give Yelp a little bit of our business, but
Yeah.
that's another story.
Yeah.
We're still with Yelp right now.
Okay.
Um, but over the years, I have transitioned our advertising from Google pay per click to now actually totally just Facebook,
Oh, wow. Really?
just because of cost per lead or
Yeah.
cost per click.
Hmm.
uh, Facebook really right now offers the most economical medium, and also a more specific targeting
Yeah.
uh, capability, which for Google it's a little bit different.
Yeah. Because I know, so it's a couple things I want to pull back the layer on because when you were early on, you didn't have millions of dollars to kind of
No,
work with. You had
my
limited
pocket.
resource. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, extremely limited resources, and you're also in a competitive environment. People think there's a lot of realtors out there. Let me tell you, it's a lot of restaurants out there. I was in San Francisco last week, and on every other corner, just like in most major cities in the Bay Area, there's restaurants everywhere. So just competing there, you had to make a decision where to invest your resources. And so you had, Google, PPC, you were thinking about Yelp. Tell me a little bit about your experience with Yelp. How did that go?
Um, when they started with us, they were babies. That was
Yeah.
2006.
Yeah.
So we did invest a little, but comparing Yelp and Google at that time, of course, Google wins, right?
Yeah.
So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
gave them a little bit of our business, and over the years, they have grown to be the place where people go for reviews.
Yeah.
Um, what has become bothersome, I would say, would be that you cannot leave Yelp.
Yeah.
Once you get started, you cannot leave
Yeah.
Yelp.
Yeah.
And there's something to do with the way they do their algorithms, wherein it changes somehow when you're no longer a subscriber.
Uh, so they've really got you tied in with that.
Exactly.
You know,
So
the thing the powerful thing about that though is thinking about the way buyers and sellers, whether it's people who are hungry, they're looking for a restaurant, or people who are looking for a realtor, the way they make decisions around who to work with, right? And so the psychology behind that, I'm teaching a training course at the National Association of Realtors in San Francisco, which you said you're not going to come to. You're right there, and you're not going to come to my session, but we'll talk about that another day. Um, and it's about part of what I'm going to be sharing with people are the six most influential ways to get buyers and sellers to do what you say when you say it. And one of those key principles, the psychology behind it, is called social proof. Because before people make a decision, and this is me, you, the person going to Yelp, who's looking for a restaurant, the person who's trying to make a decision on a realtor or a new car or Casper sofas, mattresses, before people make a decision, they look around, they see what everyone else is doing, and then they follow suit. Social proof is so important for the way that folks think about actions that they take, because there's this concept that's called safety in numbers. Safety in numbers. If 500 other people have said that this restaurant is good and given it 5 stars, well, you know what? It must be good, right? If 500 other people have said that you're a great agent, if you're a great realtor, you're a great person, you know what? It must be true. That's the way that people think. And so the psychology behind that and the practical application of that means that, you know what? Think about how many reviews do you, as a real estate agent, have on Google? How many reviews do you have on Facebook? How many reviews do you have on Zillow? Because the more reviews, the more positive reviews that you have, if that's one of the ways that people make decisions on who they work with, what cars they buy, what mattresses they buy, what restaurants they go to, then as opposed to trying to change the way that people make decisions, just feed into that, right?
well, I do have an opinion of that,
Yeah.
and one of the
Hmm.
things I learned when I was with Procter and Gamble is that there is a minimum threshold of spend
Hmm.
to break through the traffic of noise of people trying to get their name out.
Yeah.
So, as a realtor, you have many options. You have Yelp, Zillow, Google,
Yeah.
etc., etc. But specifically for me, just because the money comes from my own pocket,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
Specifically as a realtor, I've decided to focus on Google.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is if you have a lot of reviews on Google, it affects your SEO,
Hmm.
so your website. It
Yeah.
also affects how you bubble up in searches.
Hmm.
So compared to Yelp, for example, which is
Yeah.
also a good vehicle, but the thing is, I don't want to be paying Yelp money for the rest of my
For
life.
sure.
And so I've decided specifically to stay away from Yelp and
Hmm.
any subscription of their service
Hmm.
just because of our experience in the restaurant.
Yeah. When,
The
when,
other
when when I
things
think
in
when I think Yelp, I think more restaurants and less realtors, right? I don't think,
exactly, but
yeah,
you see it in a lot of forums wherein realtors are asking, should I advertise in Yelp? And my advice is actually no,
yeah,
because
I don't
that
really see that.
means you're gonna have to pay them forever.
Yeah,
If not, you're gonna see negative comments bubble up because their algorithm says so, right?
Mm, mm,
But there is also Zillow. I believe in playing with or being in the majority of the
mm-hmm.
market. And of course, Zillow owns a big chunk of noise in
Oh
the
yeah.
real estate industry.
Mm-hmm.
And so, if you can afford it and if you are able to, please put reviews in Zillow. However, I consider myself a late starter. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I consider myself late in the Zillow game because I wasn't in the industry when Zillow was starting.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had put all my reviews, for example, in Zillow, it would pale in comparison versus those who are more established in the market and those
Yeah.
who have had longer years in Zillow. So to avoid the comparison, it was deliberate of me to choose just Google.
Just Google. So basically consolidating your efforts on one and going full-fledged into that one. I'm I'm gonna share my screen because I'm gonna show people one of our clients, and I posted this in the Facebook group a couple days ago. This guy's
500.
got
That's fantastic.
500 Google reviews.
Yeah.
And so the thing to think about here is not just, oh, wow, he has 500 Google reviews, but he's playing into the psychology on how people make decisions. And what you have to think about for your business is how do people make decisions on doing business with me? And that could be, well, Google is the way. It could be Zillow is the way. It could be Facebook is the way, but you got to go through and do that analysis. And I think one of the reasons that you chose Google is because you also think about your business in a different way, right? So you have a branding website, but
Yeah.
you also have a lead generation website. So
Yeah.
talk to us about why you have the decisions that you make around generating leads, warming leads up.
So when people look for a realtor or they've met you maybe in an open house, the first thing they would do is look for your name.
Hmm.
And I needed them to find me in the fashion that I'd like them to get to know me, or the image that I'd like them to have of me. And
Hmm.
so I have a separate website that primarily promotes how different I am versus
Yeah.
all other realtors, and that would be the SheilaZarekari.com.
Can you put that in the chat? Because if you put it in the chat, then
I don't
I'll.
see. Maybe
Uh,
you can.
it's just
Sheila,
your first and last name, and
yeah.
then okay, give me a second, because I'll try to go to it and I'll just share it.
And then I do have a separate website, mainly as it's more generic. It doesn't sell me as much. It's more an IDX website. Yeah,
Okay,
that's it. Should come up.
okay, yeah, I got using so much bandwidth here for my So this is so walk us through this. This is your branding website, right? This is
Yeah,
what you use for yourself.
for myself. And the intent really was to make me look different from other realtors. So
Mm-hmm.
it was deliberate that it looks a little bit different from most realtor website.
Mm-hmm.
It also has a lot more stories and a lot more testimonials
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
about me. And yeah,
Okay.
which those are not necessarily present in my other website because the
Yeah.
other website becomes a landing page for my online lead generation efforts.
Uh-huh.
This one is if you know my name and you just kind of want to glance at who I am, what I do,
Okay.
what I look like. Um, the objectives are
Different.
different. So
Yeah.
the other website that I have is just localhomes.com,
Okay.
which feeds all my lead generation effort online.
So I got a couple questions about this one first. So again, the objective of this is personal branding. So
Yes.
you're not running Facebook or Google ads. to this site.
No.
When people search your name on Google, a couple things happen. A, because you've optimized and you ask folks for reviews on Google, then
Mhm.
A, once people search your name, those reviews show up. And
Mhm.
then B, this site shows up,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
One pro tip that I want to share with reviews is that you don't actually need to close a deal or have a closed transaction before you ask for a review. You can get a review from people, anyone who you help throughout the buying and selling process, because that's where all the value is anyway. You don't need to wait 8 months of helping that person for the deal to close before you ask someone to share their experience working with you. And so it's like it's a pro tip. It's something that you should keep in mind when you're going out there thinking about, okay, well, I've closed 100 deals. Well, does that mean I can only have 100 reviews? No, you can have many more reviews than that. People who you help think through the buying and the selling process. Just wanted to share that little pro tip. And so when people come here, do you have Google Analytics on this, Sheila?
Yes.
Okay.
I have analytics on both
Okay.
websites. Yeah.
What pages are people outside of the homepage? What pages are people going to the most? Sell, buy, about, or contact us? What are they visiting? Do you know off the
About.
top? About?
Yeah, which
Okay.
is consistent with the
Yeah,
objective of this
exactly.
website. It's really just for them to get to know me.
Got it. So let's click on this. Okay. So they're visiting the about. That makes sense. Here's your photo here. Um,
Can you highlight my? Can you put your cursor on my picture? See, even the way the picture is tagged,
hmm
it was very deliberate.
Yeah. Yeah, I see that because when they scroll over it, just local homes need help buying a home, call us, and then it has your cell phone number there. Right. And then you have this, and then people can send you an email.
Yeah.
Is this your this does this go if I were to press this right now, would it call your phone? Would
No,
it go? Okay.
it goes to a second number,
Okay.
uh, so that I can separate people who are finding me online.
I
Actually, then I know it's coming from a different source.
I love it. I love it. So even all the way down to the buttons that you have on the website, you have them separated from a targeting, I mean, from a analytics perspective,
Yeah.
so you can evaluate the return on investment. Do you have a sense? Give us a sense of how many people are actually clicking this button right here, clicking these buttons. Do you know?
Every month I get about a dozen calls,
Okay.
which means that those are people scrolling online, I guess, looking for realtors or
Yeah.
having heard of me and probably researching on me.
Uh-huh.
And then the rest of the leads that I personally know or have encountered, they would have my real phone number.
Got it. Got it. And so give us a sense of how much traffic you actually get to this website, because I would think that if someone goes and they just types and someone types in a property address, you're not going to come up. That's not the objective of this.
Yeah.
But if someone types in your name because they've seen your advertising other places, they've met you somewhere, you've given them a card, and now they're looking at the card, they type your name in, they want to stalk you a little bit,
Yeah.
then they're going to see someone who's positioned in the marketplace as a professional. They're going to see your Google reviews, they're going to click on your website, and they'll have brand consistency across all of these different channels.
So this one gets about 4,500 views a month
Are you serious?
locally. Yeah, but compare that to the restaurant. Our restaurant gets 80,000 views. So my husband, my husband like laughs at me, and my son, who has a YouTube channel which I built. but
Yeah.
he has a YouTube channel with more followers than my own YouTube channel. But that's because, I was later in the game than
Yeah.
the restaurant and then my son's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
But gets about 4,500 views, which is, I think, pretty good because it's
That's
most likely local.
yeah. Well, I think it's a couple things. A, that would be local. B, anyone because like you're obviously put a lot of thought into this and you've optimized for this, but this is really low hanging fruit. I would think the leads who come through here, these are people who want to work with you. They want to talk to you. Like
Yeah.
speed to lead doesn't matter. They've
Yeah.
done their research. They are bottom of the funnel. They're probably saying, hey, um, you know, they're not trying to choose between you and 50 other people. They're like, hey, I found you. I want to work with you. Like, what's the
So
next steps?
actually, I am here in the restaurant because I have a listing that we're preparing 4 minutes away from the restaurant today.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that listing actually came from this website. They reached out to me by sending me a message on this website, and
Here.
it's a 1.3 listing here in downtown Oakland. Yeah,
So
so it's pretty,
$1.3 million listing
yeah,
came from this
this
right here.
website, yeah.
Okay. So I don't know how much it costs you to put this website up or to spend the time getting the Google reviews.
$149 a year. So
So I want someone out there to do the return on investment
$149 a year. That's
a
my
year.
spend on this website. Yeah.
Did you ever get people who click this little button, right? You said someone sent you a message right
Yeah.
here. Like, did you mean they sent you an
Yeah.
email or they clicked this?
They click the contact.
Okay,
So
up
yeah,
here. They click
yeah.
contact. Okay. So they
And
click
then they left
contact.
me a message saying that they had something in Oakland that they wanted to sell,
Got
and
it.
they left their details.
Got it. This
And
is
of course, there's notification built into this. So as soon as they had clicked send, I got a notification on my phone. So
okay.
I did reach out to them through the website and also on the email. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So once that happens, you should have gotten a notification to your phone and then you'll
Yeah,
be
there
able
was
to reach
a
out to them.
message. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, cool. So that's really good. That's from the branding perspective again.
Oh, there you go. I got a notification just now.
You did?
Hi, we're on the Zoom call.
Yes, yeah, I will, the Zoom call. I like that a lot. So a couple things here. The objective of this is all around branding, using your experience that you've learned over the years, not only at P&G, but also in the restaurant to optimize for warm leads, warm traffic, people who have maybe they saw one of your Facebook ads before, you've met them out maybe they came to an open house or you've exchanged a card with them through the restaurant or people out who search your name.
Mhm.
Those people come to this website. And what we've learned so far is you got about 4,500 people a month who come to this site. About 12 of those people each month actually end up contacting you
Mhm.
through the site, either making a phone call or going to this contact page, or maybe even clicking this website chat right here to engage with you. And most recently, you're down right now at the restaurant, which is in Oakland, because you got a $1.3 million listing that came from this $150 per month website.
Yes.
Okay. Right. So just for our numbers folks out there, big return on investment, but also for folks out there who are just interested in kind of how to put these tools and everything together. I think that's really cool. So thanks for sharing that. But that's one strategy that you have using
Yes.
Google and optimizing for warm leads of people who may know, like, and trust you. Now, you also have another website, right?
Yeah.
Which is
Just
just
localhomes.com.
local
Yeah.
homes.
Yeah.
Now, this has an IDX.
Yes. So I guess in realtor speak, this is what you would consider an IDX website.
Hmm.
So the sole object for me, at least, the sole objective of this is to catch my online leads from my Facebook ads, so that they have a landing spot. And
Mhm.
since a lot of the ads refer to a particular property
Mhm.
or a particular buyer's campaign that I run, it is only but right for them to fall into an IDX website so that they can search for more homes.
Okay. So walk me through the funnel here then. So you're running a Facebook ad on that says, "Hey, get this list of homes."
Mhm.
And when you run that Facebook lead ad, you'll get a name, telephone number, and email address.
Correct.
And as opposed to using ClickFunnels or another, and maybe we'll talk about that in a
Landing
second,
pages,
another
for
landing page,
example. Yeah, yeah,
you are sending people directly to a list of homes through
yeah.
your IDX. So are you also emailing them a list of homes?
No,
Okay. So
because
no drip campaign.
you see, as okay, I gotta simplify my life. So
Yeah.
as far as I'm concerned, as soon as I already have their name, email, and phone number, I got them already. It
Yeah.
doesn't really matter where they land.
Mhm.
And so, as far as I'm concerned, landing on the IDX and being able to search for more homes, then they should be all good. But
Mhm.
as soon as I capture their information, then I'm able to follow through with drips that I've set up. So they will get property drips,
Okay.
they will get text, email, and call in certain order or
Uh-huh.
frequency.
Mhm.
Uh, but the website itself doesn't do that.
Yeah.
It just becomes a landing page for me now with the ad. And that's a very recent trend.
Yeah.
That's only when Facebook lead gen ads got fixed maybe 2 or 3
Yeah.
years ago. And even I think 4 years ago, Facebook lead gen ads weren't even available as much then.
Mhm. Mhm.
uh, at that time, before the advent of or the cleanup of Facebook lead gen ads, I actually had subscriptions to lead pages so
Yeah.
that you have a funnel.
Mhm.
However, since the advent of Facebook lead gen ads, I've realized that you actually do not need landing pages
Yeah.
anymore, because all you need is an IDX URL and you're good to go on
Yeah.
Facebook. So it took out one cost from my business, but at the same time, you still need a place for people to land and to draw them in. So that is the objective of this website.
So let's kind of take a step back for a second just so everyone kind of understands the flow here, right? So previously you were generating leads you were running Facebook ads, sending them
Lead
um,
pages.
uh, to lead pages.
Yeah.
So lead pages is similar to ClickFunnels or
Yeah.
Unbounce,
Yeah.
and what that means is it allows people, as opposed to going out and paying someone to develop a website for you. um, these services, Unbounce, Lead Pages, ClickFunnels with Russell Brunson, they allow you to put up a simple website that collects people's name, telephone number, email address, and basically put them through a funnel.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of benefits to doing that. And even now, still sending people to a
Yeah.
landing page, there can be a
So,
lot of benefits to doing that. But did you want to say something about that, Sheila?
well, no, I agree. I
Yeah.
don't mean to bash
Yeah.
somebody else's
Hmm.
business. There are still uses for it,
Hmm.
but in terms of my workflow, I needed to find a way to simplify my workflow,
Yeah.
because there are so many other things happening in my life, of course.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
over the years, I found that, or over the months, because this is like recent development in
Uh-huh.
Facebook, I would say. Um, I realized and compared the results. It's a little bit faster to get things done with a Facebook lead gen ad
Yeah.
linked to an IDX
Hmm.
uh, platform.
Yeah.
without the in between. Now, if the campaign that you're running is giving away, for example, home buyer's guide, home seller's
Yeah.
guide, etc., then I would say services like Unbounce or Lead Pages would still
Hmm.
benefit you. At this point, I've compared all my campaigns. I
Hmm.
still have the guides to give away,
Yeah.
but it is just more economical, cost
Yeah.
efficient for
For
me
sure. For sure.
to do it this way now.
For sure. One of the reasons that's true is because just thinking about the barrier to entry and the level of friction.
Mhm.
So if you can run a Facebook ad and you can collect someone's name, telephone number, and email address on Facebook without sending them somewhere else, then it obviously is easier for people. The load page, the time that it takes to click a button and for a page to load can sometimes be 5, 6 seconds. With that sounds like a small time, but in the internet world, it's a lifetime.
Forever,
And
yeah.
so you'll get a lot of people who click the Facebook ad, and before they actually get to your landing page, they'll leave, right? Because they say this takes too long. Maybe their internet is slow. Maybe your website sucks. It can
Plus,
be a
you have
lot of
to fill
reasons.
up the details. Like when you
Yeah.
end up with a funnel page, people would have to put in their name, telephone number, or
Hmm.
email, and that takes up too much time when attention span is shorter than a goldfish,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, so the way Facebook lead gen ads works is
Hmm.
as soon as they click, it's pre-populated. They don't
Yeah.
even have to type their name. So,
Hmm.
in terms of friction, it is definitely less friction for Facebook.
Hmm.
But of course, it depends on your objective. As I mentioned, Unbounce and Lead Pages and all services similar to that would be appropriate for different kind of funnel.
Yeah.
But for my purposes and my focus, if it were just simple lead generation for prop home buyers, this has proven to me to be the fastest and most economical way to do it right now.
And that makes a bunch of sense. One of the things that I share with people all the time, people always talk about, this is a bad lead, this is a good lead, bad lead, good lead.
Yeah,
And I got a lot of strong opinions on that.
me too.
But but one of the things, and maybe we can have another Facebook Live. I can talk for an hour just on that topic. But one of the things I like to share with people is if you feel like you're getting bad leads from a specific source, the only thing you have to do to improve the quality of the leads is increase the friction. So what that means is, let's say you're running a Facebook ad and you're asking for the name, telephone number, and email address, and you're using a Facebook lead form. That information pre-populates, as Sheila was saying. The name, telephone number, and email address for that lead pre-populates. So all they have to do to become a lead is close their eyes and click, 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 and now they're a lead, right? And so you get a high volume of leads for a lower cost with that method. But if you say, you know what, I'm getting so many leads, I don't have time to follow up, you should probably be using something like Smart Alto, but that's a different
Yeah.
conversation for another day. If you say you don't have time to follow up and you want to get higher quality leads, then increase the friction. What do? Ask them another question in the Facebook lead form. You can ask them a question that says, um, is
Are you
this,
looking to buy in 3 to 6 months?
there you go. Are you going to buy in 3 to 6 months? What's another question they could ask?
Um, do you have a home? Do you currently rent or own?
Yep, that's another question. Another
Because
question.
then you can qualify them very
Hmm.
quickly.
Hmm. Is
Um,
this a personal property or an investment property?
mhm, yeah.
That's another question you could ask. With every question you ask, you increase the friction. When you increase the friction, there's a couple things that's going to happen. One, you're going to get fewer leads.
Mhm.
Two, the cost per lead is going to go up. Now, the thought behind that is, and the three, you're going to have more information for the leads that you actually get. So if you ask one question, you're going to have 4 bits of information because you start off with three: name, telephone number, and email address. You ask
Mhm.
on one question, you're going to have 4 bits of information. You're going to know their timeline to buy: 3 months, 6 months, etc. Now that helps you prioritize. If someone says they're just looking or they're looking to buy within 12 months, maybe you decide not to call that person, not to text that person, just to put them on an email drip campaign, right? So you can have different choices based upon how you pre-qualified the lead. That's really interesting. So let me show, this is, let me go to smartalto.com and show you how we do this in my business, right? So if you go to smartalto.com, we generate leads through Facebook, but also through Google. If someone clicks, oh, and you see we have little proof down there too around when people sign up for something on Smart Alto, become a customer, we have that all that information. So here's a landing page that we send people to sometimes. We get people's name, email address, phone number, the number of leads they get per month, the number of agents they have on their team, and where they're generating leads. What are we saying? People who come to our website, if they found us through Google, maybe they've Googled my name, they've Googled Smart Alto, they saw our one of my YouTube videos, they saw me at a conference, whatever, and they come to our website and they're searching around, not through paid traffic, but just through SEO. That person is more likely to give us all this information. And when they give us all this information, you know what? That is a more that is what we call on our end a marketing qualified lead. So I'm gonna take a really quick moment to just explain how we at Smart Alto qualify people. We have prospects, leads, marketing qualified leads, sale qualified leads, opportunities, and then clients. So the way we think about it in our business is the more information we know about you, the more information we know about a particular person, the farther down the funnel they move. So if we only have their name, telephone number, and email address, we're not going to prioritize that person over and above someone who we know their name, their email address, their cell phone number, the number of leads they get per month, whether or not they have a team and where they're getting leads from. You see, we've prioritized the people who give us more information over the ones who don't. And so a person who give us a name, telephone number, and email address, we put that person as a lead. We don't call leads. If someone gives us all this information, they are a marketing qualified lead. Our sales team does not call that person. If that only when we know how soon they're looking to make a decision, would we put one of our salespeople on the phone with them? Because at that point, we know all this information about them and we know they're looking to buy within 14 days, right? That's when it's a sales qualified lead. And so you can do some of the same things in your business just by increasing or decreasing the level of friction. I just wanted to share that as a pro tip, but not to monopolize the conversation. So pivoting back here, um, with your IDX, your
Mhm.
funnel is from the Facebook lead ad, you have their name, telephone number, and email address. At that point,
Mhm.
you send them here to get their list of homes. Do you use Zapier at all?
I use Zapier for the leads to get directly into my phone,
Okay,
uh, so
great.
that
I love that tip.
yeah, I don't have to put in their contacts. And then there's a Zapier that goes directly from Facebook to Real Scout, because
Got it.
I use Real Scout for property drips.
Okay.
And then, of course, it goes into Lion Desk.
Great. It was funny because I know Andrew. Andrew's the founder and president at Real Scout.
Mhm.
And how do you like Real Scout?
I love Real Scout.
You do? That's
I'm
good. How
probably
long?
one of the earliest clients they have, because when I started with them, they didn't have all the bells and whistles yet.
Yeah.
So, but now they've actually grown, and I still love them. I tell people to actually copy what I do and use Real Scout. My issue is that, and I'm not sure if the issue is shared across the nation
Mm-hmm.
with other MLSs, but our MLS at the time had a drip system that was pretty ugly on the phone.
Yeah.
And early on, I do and did realize that it's gonna have to be a game on how good you look on the phone, right?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And so while a lot of people were still talking about websites and website maximization,
Mm-hmm.
I was already gearing towards my mobile marketing because
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be a battle on the phones.
Yeah.
So the MLS couldn't provide me with a beautiful drip on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And even what was provided with our brokerage at the time wouldn't cut it. So I needed to find a solution that works well on the phone and delivers it beautifully. And at that time, it was still Real Scout, and up to today, it's still Real Scout. I
Well,
mean,
there
there
you
are
go.
other competing services right
Yeah.
now.
Uh-huh.
The MLS also has changed over the years, but
Mm-hmm.
my database essentially is in Real Scout. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I was talking to um someone else recently who their brokerage just brought on Real Scout, and so it's good to know that the Real Scout is kind of fitting your needs there. From your Google Analytics, where are people going when they visit this site? I would assume most people are going directly to the link that you sent them to, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
So at that time it would be specific properties,
okay,
and then they will jump into the general search.
okay, okay.
So here it is obvious that they're not here looking for me,
Uh-huh.
but here they're looking for homes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Are you, how else are people getting to this site? Because people are not getting to this site. If they go in and type in this address right here, right,
Mhm.
they're not going to get this. Zillow is going to come up. Trulia is going to come up.
Exactly.
And
So
so,
my idea, one thing that I had to admit to myself is
mhm,
that I am not as big as Zillow or
yeah,
Trulia, and therefore the only way to play the industry is to pay to play.
yeah,
So the traffic for this one are all paid traffic
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
because they're gonna go search wherever they want to search. They're
for
gonna go
sure.
Redfin, Trulia, Zillow, which is fine.
Mm-hmm,
Uh, but then again, I need to know for myself that that's not my objective.
mm-hmm.
So the only way to draw traffic on this one is actually paid traffic. Yeah.
Okay, got it. So, is it, are you only using Facebook to drive people here now with the funnel that we spoke about earlier, or
Not, I would say 95% Facebook, and
okay,
I have ad placements in my geographic farm.
okay,
But that one, the ad placements I have in my geographic farm would be divided between my branding and IDX,
okay,
depending on the objective of the campaign.
got it. Okay. So one thing I want to make a quick note of, and I should have mentioned this earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat if you're on the Zoom call. If you're not on the Zoom, you can put them in Facebook, and I'll be checking that in a moment too. So, so in your geographic farm, are you using like Nextdoor to run ads, or what are you using there?
No, next door for me is another long topic, and I've opted actually not to participate in next door.
Mm-hmm.
That's personal preference, I would say. I'm
Uh-huh.
not saying that they are not good, but it does not fit my brand.
Got it.
So
Okay.
I specifically would not do next door. Uh, No, I have Google placements
Okay.
around my geographic farm.
Okay.
So specifically, I run zip code ads
Mm-hmm.
that are branding ads, mainly Sheila, your real
Got
estate
Yeah.
agent, blah blah,
Mm-hmm.
and then the other type of ads would just be finding out what price your neighbor sold at, something like that.
Got
So
it. Okay. Okay.
yeah, so that would be in the hopes that there would be sellers, potential
Mm-hmm.
sellers in a
Mm-hmm.
particular zip code that I play in.
And 90% of your budget, 95% of your budget is going towards Facebook. Your advertising
Yeah,
budget is going towards Facebook.
yes,
And then the 5 to 10% is going towards the Google, like
yeah.
the branding or find out how much your neighbor sold for, stuff like that. Okay. Cool. Cool.
And just so you know, after, because we get a lot of leads, so we need services like Smart Alto
Mm-hmm.
to take care of the leads because I can't do it all alone.
Yeah.
Like one campaign would have 68 leads in a weekend or
Yeah.
something. So
Wow.
I don't have the bandwidth to call everybody. So
Yeah.
on top of everything that I use, I need services like Smart Alto to go through all the leads that we get.
Great. I love it. Thank you for the shout out. I appreciate that. Alina has a question. She said, "Are you running your own ads or do you use a service like AdWorks?"
I run my own ads. And the reason that I run my own ads is I noticed when I try to hire somebody to do it for me, the
Mm-hmm.
traffic goes to their IP address for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my IP address. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not helping my SEO if
Mm-hmm.
somebody else is running the ads for me.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing too that I realized in terms of effectivity of the ads would have to be changed every couple of days, every 4 days actually.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is a high touch lead generation strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I decided not to leave in the hands of somebody else.
Yeah. High touch lead generation strategy. You're right. I like
Yeah,
that.
because every four
Yeah.
days your ad has to change.
Uh-huh.
If not, the engagement on the campaign actually goes down dramatically.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I teach a class at the office and tell people that okay, you cannot set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Social media is not that static anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 10 years ago or 15 years ago when we were starting, but nowadays because the attention span is so short,
Yeah.
the life of your campaign is also very short. So
Mm-hmm.
3 to 4 days, new ad has come out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so this is really hands-on for you. You're managing this. You obviously know your numbers, which I think is one of the most important things. I don't want that to go unnoticed, right? When you ask Sheila a question about what's working, what's not working, why she made a decision, what's the objective here, she's like really got a firm understanding of the business supported by numbers because we can have opinions about things but we can't have different facts, right? And the facts are that once you take a look at those numbers, you can then begin to make an adjustments because our job as entrepreneurs, right? Because I'm an entrepreneur the same way you are, and you are the same way I am, is to eliminate waste. But it's really hard to eliminate waste and the things that are not working when you don't actually know what's working or you don't even have any hypothesis around why what's working is working or why what's working is not working. And so just think, I love the way big picture, you think about the business and then small picture, the way you kind of execute on things and the way you make decisions about what to invest in and what not to invest in, what's working, what's not working, what
It's
should you do, what
also in
shouldn't you
my
do.
calendar, by the way.
What
So they
is?
really putting the ads out. So you
Mm,
really, it used to be when social media was not that important. It used to be I have 20 minutes of social media ad development in my calendar. Nowadays, it's a whole day,
Mm-hmm.
really.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
Is it a lot? No, but it
Yeah.
is in my calendar because you have to change the ads very
Yeah.
often, more often than I think most people think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. It is this is like what you're talking about is a really important skill. I have a lot of friends who are doctors or lawyers, and they go to school and they learn how to become a doctor. They go to school, they learn how to become a lawyer, and then they go work at a firm, and then they say, you know what? I want to start my own law firm. I want to start my own practice. And they realize really quickly that now they're business owners.
Yep, very
And
different.
it's very different skills. So you can actually, as a doctor, be a great physician, but an awful business owner,
Yep, sure.
and then spend most of your time like trying to run the business and not a lot of time actually, you know, practicing medicine. And the same thing with doctors, same thing with agents. You kind of get out there and they teach you in school the fundamentals of like real estate transactions, but they don't actually share with you that, you know what, now you got to generate leads. You got to follow up with leads. You got to figure out what to invest in, what to spend your time on. It's one of the hardest things to do in life is figure out where should you be investing your time right now, your energy right now. And part of this goes to understanding OPM, not necessarily other people's money, but how to use other people's manpower. Focus on the things that you need to do and you need to become proficient at, and then let other people do and kind of support you throughout your process and helping your business grow. So,
Alina had a question about
oh,
what
does she?
my most effective strategy or is it campaign? Uh, in terms of campaign, it's usually open houses and then list of homes. Those would be the
Mm,
top ones. I've dabbled a lot with giving away buyer's guides, seller's guides. Those actually don't work really well, and usually
mm-hmm.
I get realtors who are requesting my guides instead of home buyers and sellers. Uh, so I've switched mainly towards open houses and list of homes.
I love it. So I have heard that quite a bit, that you'll end up with a lot of real estate agents who are just
Yeah,
out there. I don't know what they're doing. I guess just trying to steal other people's marketing and
they're
stuff.
they're going to R&D, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
work very well, so that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, people can swipe and deploy all that they want, but no one can steal the relationship that you have with your customers, right? The relationship that you build with people. So, is there anything else you want to share before we go and kind of sign off?
Um, I think that's it. It does take work. It doesn't happen just like that.
Hmm.
But because the money comes from our own pockets as realtors,
Yeah.
then you really have to be mindful of the choices that you make. Simplify it, focus on the things that work,
Hmm.
um, and don't go for the next shiny thing because there are
Yeah.
actually very few things that actually work.
Hmm. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Great advice. Thank you so much. Does everyone see why I had the conversation? I was like, we gotta talk about this. It's such a wonderful conversation, tons of knowledge here. Great business experience and very diverse business experience as well, right? Business owner, entrepreneur with the restaurant, previous experience doing branding with P&G, now successful agent, and really understanding kind of how to make those, like what information and knowledge and skills that you've learned is valuable now, but also what things are not valuable, because there's some things that you're doing now that you didn't have to do at P&G, right? You had to
Mhm.
really learn some new things in order to make this work. And so you have a really fascinating journey, and thank you for allowing me to be a part of
Thank you so much for having me. Now they're preparing the room for a guest.
it.
Sorry about it, but
No, you're great. Thank you so much.
All right. Have a
And
good
thank you, everyone. Bye.
bye.